right, and we're live. And I've got a guest that you can't see. Excuse me.
But you can hear.
But you can hear. I've got Matt. I've got a guest.
Oh.
If you and he's apparently such a fan of the podcast.
I'm watching it on my phone as we speak.
So Matt's joining me, but one, I only have like this webcam, so squeezing us both in is going to be a little tough until I rearrange my studio. Two, Matt does.
I could have sat on your lap at least.
Well, I offered and you said no. Matt doesn't like to be on camera. Matt really is not a fan of being on camera, and I don't know why. My dog is tap dancing above us. But
yeah, I'm not good at it per se.
Being on camera,
I'm awkward on camera. Like when I know that the camera's on me, I just don't know what to do with myself.
Just pretend the camera's naked.
It's like, yeah, then I get a little herny.
So we got Matt off screen, but he's going to be here to discuss the episode because he regained his Walking Dead fandom, and he is now keeping up with the show again.
I didn't even tell you, Justin. I didn't have the heart to tell you. We actually saw the second episode last week on AMC Plus. They gave a little bonus.
You've been seeing it.
I've been seeing it for like a week. That's how big of a fan I am.
Matt, how have you out-fanned me?
I didn't want to say.
My beard's all funky today.
I've taken so much from you. I couldn't take any more.
Well, you've also given, though. You lost my flip-flops at the beach, and you bought me new ones.
And we just fixed your little fan over on your fridge.
Yep. Matt, I had my beer fridge fan stopped working. Matt stuck a knife in it, and I guess it felt threatened, so it started working.
Hey, I forgot to clarify. Like, what is the like? Are you allowed to say a swear or two on the podcast?
Yeah. I mean, for the sake of professionalism, let's not go overboard.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
I don't want to do tasteless cursing.
No, but I mean, if you want to curse, man,
well,
you say what the hell you want to say.
His little fan, the motor was jamming up, and so we just did some redneck engineering, got that bad boy going.
But if you've never listened to the Patreon, you should really go check it out because Matt has been a frequent guest on the Patreon.
Many more to come.
And you can hear actually some podcasts with him. I've got another one with my little brother that should be on probably tomorrow. I was going to put it on tonight. I recorded it last night, but that should be up and available tomorrow. But anyways, let's talk about episode 2, season 11 of The Walking Dead. And first and foremost, Matt, you were telling me out the gate that you liked it, but you had some issues with it.
There were some things I had troubles suspending my disbelief on. But I mean, otherwise, it was a solid episode. There's things in The Walking Dead where it's like, man, like I can't buy that. Like with that, remember that last season with the grenade? You just kneel down and then boom, you're saved from a grenade. That's how you survive a shockwave. It's
funny because I can see part of Matt's body. He's sitting behind a soundproofed wall here, and I can see where he's got the live stream pulled up. I guess to see and read comments as they post up. Now this, it's a live stream, but I didn't do a very good job. Usually if I know I'm a live stream the night of the episode, I'll go ahead and post something up hours ahead so you have time to get in here. This is also just for the channel because I don't think we've ever missed an episode of The Walking Dead. So this is kind of like a live stream, but it's really just meant to be on the channel. So, if we don't get too many live streamers, I'm fine with that. But in the meantime, so Matt, let's go ahead and just jump right into the issues that you had with this episode.
So the big one I had when Maggie's trying to climb up with the rest of the gang to safety, and she starts struggling because zombies are grabbing at her heels, nipping at her heels, and Negan's looking over like he's got that little Scar from Lion King, like looking over like
Negan, brother, help me.
There's some Lion King bullshit here. But we learn later in the episode that Maggie does not succumb to the fate that Mufasa did, but she somehow she gets her ankles grabbed. That's enough to take her down, but then she's able to then miraculously escape this horde of zombies and then come back and then pistol whip Negan.
The zombies were like, I used my last bit of strength pulling her down
to nip at your ankles here, and that apparently that was I guess literally her Achilles heel was getting her Achilles pulled on.
So was your major beef with the episode was more like in little details than necessarily like the narrative?
It just for me it was like, man, like she has no upper body strength coming up that ladder, and the zombies are pulling at her heels, and that's enough to take her down. And boom, then she somehow gets back and pistol whips Negan for being a little bitch, for being a real Scar.
Yeah, Yeah, and let's see here. So Brian Clayton, JP is still on the channel. JP is just a very, very busy man. Well, see, we're both super busy, but JP works third shift. And I mean, like the dude works 6-7 days a week. So it's really hard to.
And he works those shitty shifts, the ones like where you're like you're working nights, like you're trying to sleep during the day when everyone's out like up and doing things.
Yeah, so JP's still on the channel. I hadn't had him on in a while.
He's alive and well.
But he's alive and well, and definitely still a part of the channel. Just a little preoccupied at the moment. I'm hoping soon I'm going to help get him another job, which will free him up to be at my beck and call for podcasting. But in the meantime, I got Matt. I tricked Matt, and I told Matt to come over. I had treats, and he came over, and I'm like, "You're podcasting tonight, pal."
Got me.
But so back to the episode. As we kind of get things going here, do you think that Maggie is justified in the way she's acting? Because anytime, there are times where I'm like, Maggie's kind of being a douche, but then I mean, like, you got to think about it. So Maggie,
if I sat in front of someone and watched them bash my wife's brains with a baseball bat with spikes on it, I would have a really hard time letting that one go. Right.
And it's like anytime I feel like Maggie's being out of line, I have to.
Yeah. The whole baseball bashing your husband's brains in.
And keep in mind, she was gone for a long time. So like after the Negan thing happened, it was like 1.5 years into the future. She had when she left, Negan was. She felt it was justified. Negan was suffering in a cell and was a shell of himself and was just, really broken
down there. Yeah.
And then she left and she comes back. And not only is he not in the cell, but like he's a part of the community. I just kind of get pissed in the first episode when he said something to Daryl and Daryl's like, "What, you think we buddies now?
You think we buddies?"
And I get it, right? Like I get that he did Daryl dirty and but I mean, Negan also has had Daryl's back several times. I'm not saying you have to be best friends with him, but at least acknowledge him.
Yeah.
It's like that friend that
when
you're really cool with.
Yeah.
But then when their friends get around, they become a douchebag. That's how Daryl is.
But when you go through some real shit with people, man, that can really change the dynamic. You can put past things aside.
Yeah. But I do think, what do you think about her not letting that kid in? Do you think that was justified? It was a gnarly scene. It kind of reminded me of, remember I think it was season 6. Remember with Noah and the turnstile door?
Yeah.
Where you had to just sit and watch him get ripped up. It reminded me of that. But did you think that was justified?
Like, I get them trying to compromise the safety of the whole group there. And that kid was a shit biscuit in prior episodes. What was God, I'm blanking on what Alpha's daughter's name was.
Lydia.
When he was picking on Lydia, so he has a history of being a shit biscuit. So I mean, ultimately, I think he had it coming to him. But that really does suck, kind of sentencing that poor kid to his death. I think they could have got that door unstuck miraculously, like they do, and get him to safety.
Oh yeah.
But then he just, I guess, decides, all right, I'm just gonna plunge this knife into my heart a few times.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem I have too.
More effective ways of killing yourself than a very sharp, painful stab to the heart and the gizzards.
Sometimes The Walking Dead. Sorry, I keep fidgeting with my beard to the viewers. It's for some reason tonight. It's like sitting really uneven and it's bugging the shit out of me. I need
it's
to
bugging me too. Actually, looking on the live stream here on my phone.
I bet it is.
This beard, man. What the fuck?
But like the problem with The Walking Dead is sometimes they're just too predictable. I mean, like the two characters betray them and try to bail out on them, and those two characters both die by the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other guy too gets hit with an arrow as soon as they encounter the Reapers. And it's just like that's the problem I have. Like I still love the show, but when it comes to the writing, it's like sometimes it just gets so repetitive and predictable. I mean, like these two people wronged us. How about like let's take one of them and maybe give them a redeeming shot, or let's make you. I don't know. It just like I could have probably told you that they were going to die by the end of the episode because of their betrayal.
And then they died.
It's like the universe in The Walking Dead is just like universal justice. I mean, like, what's the odds that one of the guys who bailed out on you is the first one to get popped with an arrow?
Yeah.
But with that said, I actually really like this episode.
Yeah, so there was a lot of good moments to it, but yeah, Maggie falling to the zombies, and actually she lives to whip Negan and then give him a pistol later on.
Well, and all right. So going back, so being that you started watching this show, was it this year?
No, it was pretty much I think like during the peak of the pandemic last year. Like Ash and I we plowed through like all 10 seasons on Netflix. I mean, it was just night after night, episode after episode after episode. Like enough to I don't think like you could really process it besides the extremely horrific or like high climax scenes for the show.
I was going to say, so how did you feel with the Glenn death fake out? Because we were podcasting at that point, and I remember there being a lot of
snapping you. It's like, oh man.
Some people hated it, and some people loved it. See, me, I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me at all that they did that. Now later, I think I might have bitched a little bit because they saved him just to kill him again. But from a narrative standpoint, it actually was pretty smart because they made you think, well, they faked his death, so they're not going to, it made you feel like Glenn might have been safe when he wasn't. But, there were some people that really thought that was just a cop-out, that The Walking Dead did not have the balls to, like, follow through with anything. But I actually thought we hadn't really seen fake-outs like that. You kind of had one with Carol back in, like, season 3 where the prison got overrun and she went missing for a few episodes.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah. I thought the Glenn thing was okay as long as they don't make a habit of it.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was a tasteful use of it. Like man, for a man, like, oh man, like they just killed Glenn. Like now he'll never get to see baby Glenifer. That's what we were predicting Glenn's baby's name to be.
I'm with our boy Brian here. I definitely thought that Maggie, and I thought it was going to be like The Walking Dead, thinking they're being like the writers, like, because I thought she was going to do just like Glenn did, and all the zombies were going to fall on her, and she was like going to grab the train and like pull herself under it, just the way he pulled her the dumpster.
Able to pull up a ladder. You think she's going to be able to pull her to the train?
And I'm like, I'm tired of the universe having so much control in The Walking Dead.
Straight up Mufasa her ass.
At this point, I felt excuse me if I say your name wrong. That's Boon-Yang Lim. How would you say that?
Boon-Yang Lim.
There you go. At this point, I feel like Maggie or Daryl will give Negan's Dwight. Okay, so that is a comic spoiler. I wonder why you post a comic spoiler. Yeah, I feel like Negan is going to take Dwight's part because we already got Yumiko taking Michonne's part in the comics because that whole, I'm a lawyer and yada yada yada. That Maggie is taking Michonne's part of the comic story arc, and I definitely feel like Negan is going to get Dwight. So yeah, I agree with you there, buddy. Jonas Billy, wife like husband. She had a whole train. Glenn had a damn dumpster. Starting to think they're sexist. The universe was like, oh no, you're a girl.
Glenn did have quite a dump on him.
I mean, now that I think about it though, have you ever seen a dumpster with that much ground clearance?
No.
Like, I mean, I know Steven Yeun's not a big dude per se, but like, that I've never seen a dumpster that
you can comfortably crawl under.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember thinking, like, what did they put a lift kit on this dumpster? Yeah. Was this a redneck dumpster? Like somebody was like,
shit.
You know what this dumpster needs? It needs a lift kit. It's like before. Too bad the apocalypse happened when it did. They did
exhaust on there too.
They didn't even get a chance to put the mud tires on there. Our dumpster's got 4-wheel drive. I can take my places. You can't take your dumpster. Let's see. Yeah, I put comic spoiler warning before posting. Hi, sorry if anyone got spoiled. I mean, you know what? We had one guy I'll never forget. Like, we really do. Like, I know JP does too. Like, we really remember listeners. And I remember this one guy that got so mad because we would say, and I kind of quit saying it because at this point, man, I mean, we're going to review the episode. So, we're going to spoil it. But, like, he got mad because we kept dropping comic spoilers, but we would say, we were really like official then. So I would start every podcast off saying spoiler warnings for the show, spoiler warnings for the comics. We're going to spoil the comics because as big time comic fans,
I hope you're happy.
We're gonna draw parallels. We had this one guy that like got so mad at us and was like, y'all have lost a subscriber. And like he kept coming back episode after episode before he finally unsubscribed. And I'm like,
maybe it wasn't him. Like maybe he had another person in the room with him that was getting really upset, and he was like being a proxy for them.
Maybe, but it's like if it's that bad, then go ahead and damn, buy the compendiums and just read the damn thing so you can be caught up.
Yours too, and
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got a whole shelf right there. I'm only missing of the hard covers, which eventually you'll see my bookshelf and stuff in the podcast when I get this side of the basement rearranged. But I've got all but the very last one, and when I think about it, I'll order it off Amazon. But I've got Compendium 1 you can borrow whenever you want. That's like the first, I think, 4 hardcovers in one big book. And then you can borrow the hardcovers there because I bought those so I wouldn't have to reopen my comics. So, yeah, you can borrow. They're really good, man. It's definitely worth a read.
That's what I hear.
Let's see. Chris says, how wild would it be if Maggie and Negan start a romance? I
know we played with that thought before.
JP has been saying, you know what? If that happens, I'm going to be so happy for JP. Not happy for Negan. Not happy for Maggie. Definitely not happy for Glenn. I'm going to be very happy for JP because JP has been saying since the comic. So the whole scene with Maggie pulling, and this is comic spoiler kind of, but the whole scene with Maggie pulling Negan out the jail cell and him begging her to kill him, that happened a little bit different in the comics. And it actually happened later on in the comics. They just like crossed paths. And Negan's like, you know what? I give up. If you want to kill me, please go ahead and kill me. And Maggie just decides not to. But JP,
now I don't want to.
JP said from that moment in the comics, which was like 3 years ago, at least 2 years ago, JP was like, I'm telling you, Maggie and Negan will end up banging.
There's sexual chemistry there.
I mean, they were Bruce and Martha Wayne in Ben Affleck's Batman. You know, they played his parents. So there's that. They do have a romantic experience on film together. Yeah. I can't wait to see more of Mercer. I'm with you, General Shepard. I hope they don't give him the Jesus treatment. Because Jesus, if you read the comics, Jesus was my favorite character in the whole
dude,
comic.
I loved him. That dude was awesome.
Oh man, and if only you could, if you read the comics,
God,
though,
I about pissed my pants when when Daryl was chasing him the first time I saw that. That was great.
Oh, that was hilarious. And I'm telling you though, if you read the comics, it's going to really piss you off though, because you're going to see how underutilized he was.
That's when we would give you live updates when my wife and I were watching it. You'd always like have little quips on like things that they would like that they deviated from like from the comics.
I mean, Jesus, and he was a badass in the show. They definitely get like I loved his fight with Morgan, where he finally got to flex kind of how badass of a martial artist he was. But in the comics, you know, Jesus had so much bigger of a role. I mean, Jesus, my favorite moment in the whole comic is when you remember. All right, so I'll kind of draw a comic parallel here. Remember in season 7 where Negan came back with Sasha? And like was trying to retake Alexandria.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This would have been okay. So this is like a mix of those two. So that, and then remember in season 8 where they start chunking grenades, you know, and blowing up Alexandria where Carl dies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
All right. So those two kind of mesh together. But Negan rolls back up, and instead of grenade launchers, he just has grenades. But they start chunking grenades over the fence, and Negan's group the saviors get the upper hand, and they have everybody lined up. And they're about to do it again. And all of a sudden, Jesus comes out of nowhere. And like Negan goes to swing his bat at him. And Jesus like catches it in his hand and then takes it and smacks Negan's face with his own bat. And like starts kind of whooping his ass until it gets somebody intervenes. Like Jesus had so many killer moments in the comics that were like crucial. And they just threw it all. And, you know,
any of it. Yeah.
Like he really worked his way in the comics. Of course, it's always been Rick's story, but he really worked his way up in the comics to being like a key player and everything. Whereas in the show, he was awesome and the actor did a great job, but it's like he was just put as a side character. I mean, and I was so mad when they killed him, but I realized the actor had said he wanted to be off the show because like I watched an interview where he's like, I did all this training because he had really read the comics and like understood the character and was like, all right, this guy that I'm playing is acrobatic. He is a killer martial artist. And I don't know if he had to actually prepare to play because it's like, and he's gay. So, you know, it's like, all right, so I'm going to have to find me a male lover. I'm going to have to take karate lessons and acrobatics. But like he really, really invested in the role, and then they didn't use hardly any of it.
That sucks that they put so much time and effort into this, and then they don't like doesn't pan out how it's supposed to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to answer your question, General Shepard, no, the Reapers aren't in the comics. Now, I mean, the comics, it's a big story, so I'm not going to say there's not some group they're pulling from there, but no, I think just like the Wolves, I think they were kind of added in. I'll have to go back and reread, but you had the Hunters back in a while years ago, but they basically turned them into the Terminus people, because that whole scene with Bob's leg, that was actually another character that had his leg eaten and all of that. But Jonas, let's see. I heard in the comic Jesus beat up Beta. Kinda, yeah, and no. Beta, it's a badass scene, but Beta kind of sneaks up behind him, and then it's kind of Jesus and Aaron versus Beta, and that's actually it's full circle. That is what that guy I was talking about earlier that got mad at us for spoiling the comics. That's the exact part of the comics I was talking about that made him so mad. But yeah, check it out, man. Definitely worth reading. Jonas Belilli says, did anyone else have a problem with the train zombies? And that mass sickle guy could have taken all those walkers himself? Wouldn't bodies start piling up to the point that they have a hard time passing? Yeah, I agree with that. I'm really disappointed with the sickle guy, Matt. What do you think? I mean, like, you show up with a mask and 2 sickles, you've got to be a badass.
No, just like one of those nerds that dress in and try to do oh hell, what's it called when you're like doing acrobats like in a city environment? Oh, what's it called? Starts with a P, I want to say.
I'm not. You know what? I'm gonna let you work this out on your own.
Yeah, let me. It just seemed like one of those nerdy kids that like get like they go to some store and get like a little samurai sword.
And that's my problem. Like, if you're gonna wear that in the apocalypse, you gotta back it up.
Yeah, this ain't like going to the mall and
like, he seems like the kind of guy, he dresses up all badass, and you would like punch him, and he'd be like, "Ow, my fingy,
my fingies,
my fingies hurt. Ow, why you gotta be so mean?" So yeah, no. And I will say, if you've ever played the Resident Evil 2 remake, Daryl putting the grenade in that walker's mouth and then like pushing him back, straight up from Resident Evil 2 remake.
Parkour, that's what I'm thinking of.
Parkour.
Yeah.
But like, that was in Resident Evil 2. Like, that was one of your evasions. If you had a grenade in your inventory and a zombie grabbed you, you could actually, like, quick hit the button and he'd put a grenade in their mouth, push them back, and it'd blow their head off. But
I'm gonna get a samurai sword now too, and a cool mask, and just hang around the malls.
I've got a cheap katana over there under the steps you can have if you want. I mean, that thing is so dull. It's insane. You know why I bought that? Got a little buzzed one day because we were going to go fishing. I was like 19 and we were in the mall, and I was like, you know what? I don't know how grown up that pond is. It might be snakes. So I went in there and dropped like $50 on this cheap katana to defend us from snakes that we never saw.
While your friends were getting laid and drinking, you were studying the blade. So who's laughing now?
Oh man, I actually did. I did learn some swordsmanship back in my martial arts days. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a beast by any means, but I do know a little bit about sword wielding. Let's see. Going down through the comments, they're starting to pile up now. People are coming in. I love it. Let's see. At the end of the last episode, when the group runs into the Reapers, it felt like the group running into the Saviors for the first time. Negan is finally getting a taste of his own medicine. I didn't even think of that, Chris. That's a great point.
So this is what it's like to be Negan. It kind of sucks.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I suck again. That's a really good point, though, Chris. I didn't think about that. I mean, Negan was in the position that he put Rick and them back in 5 seasons ago. Where
these Reapers walking up big cock style, and
I'm not a big fan of the Reapers, to be honest. Like, I don't feel like they have any purpose, if that makes any sense. I mean, we've
they got some cool tools, and they got at least pretty cool costumes.
I feel like from the writing, you try to make each group of enemies.
Hey, dude, like you want a cool fucking costume? You should join the Reapers.
like a new chat. Like they need to have like the Whisperers. I remember reading the comics thinking the Whisperers were a super cool enemy type.
Oh, that when we first saw the Whisperers, man, that was like, what the corn dog hell's going on?
It was so cool. Like it was different. It was like, man, that's awesome. So they don't
really mix it up.
They don't keep encountering just like groups of people with guns. I mean, every group kind of has some different feature about them, and maybe we've yet to learn it. But the Reapers,
like Dragon Ball Z, like each enemy is different but somehow stronger.
And it's like, maybe we'll find something later, but at this point, it just looks like another group of masked psycho bandits who kill people because apocalypse. But I don't know. We'll see. And I mean, it didn't ruin it for me. I'm not at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to find out more about the Reapers. I'm like, Not at this point. I'm not.
Like talking about things that kind of buddy, oh, okay, guys, we're gonna walk in a V pattern very menacingly towards them.
I always wonder. You wonder stuff like that.
Who planned this? Okay, just form. Like, I'm gonna be the pack, and you guys are just gonna kind of trail behind me, and we're gonna look very, very menacing. We're gonna like our chest puffed out, shoulders broad, and we're gonna.
I think the same thing. Donald, unzip your jacket a little more.
It doesn't look menacing if it's zipped all the way.
You have to show the gray hoodie underneath. Unzip that too. Show it your wife beater. But no, I thought the same thing. Like when Negan, when they did their whole thing, like how did Negan have a meeting with his people?
I'm sure Negan, yes. They rehearsed. There was a dress rehearsal for that.
Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna steer him this way. I'm gonna be waiting in the camper. Simon, I'm gonna need you to be my hype man. You're gonna blah 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 blah. And when you're ready, come knock on the door and I'll make my entrance. Like, man, this guy really, like, I can understand.
The theatrics is there. I really appreciate it. Like, when there's a clear dress rehearsal there, I appreciate it.
I will say, man, Negan's introduction in the show was badass.
Oh, my God. I mean,
that episode was wonderful, but, man, the ending was sucked. So you got to watch them back to back. Imagine watching it week to week and then knowing.
Yeah, you got 7 days
months
to ponder on it.
No.
That was a summer. That was
a finale.
Yeah.
So no, we had 7 months
to sit there and stew.
And that was such a cop out. Like what it felt like to me was that The Walking Dead didn't trust its fans enough that they would, it wanted to keep those numbers up. So it left it as a cliffhanger to make sure that premiere would have record views to see who Negan killed. And it's like, come on, man. I get it from a financial and a business standpoint, but I mean, it was a very disservice to those of us that are really into the show.
No, after that episode, I mean, my wife and I, we just had to shut the TV off for the night. That was just too much emotion to take at once. And we just so that just happened.
I was cursing Daryl out. I was like, screw you, Daryl.
Yeah, it's his fault. I mean, it is his fault. He laid out very clear ground rules. Like, hey, if you get out of line, like, I'm going to beat the holy ever living shit out of one of you guys.
He did. Like, you're right. I mean, that's the thing. Some people try to defend Daryl. I'm like, no, Daryl, number one, you were outnumbered. Number two, you had no way of winning. Number three, you were injured. Number four, you just saw what this guy did. You know that he's not just talking shit.
This is not.
Emotions be damned, man. You think Rick didn't want to jump up and knock the shit out of him?
He's already chopped his damn son's arm off one episode.
Oh, yeah. That was the very next episode. Kate Domingo says, good episode, but the writing is just all over the place. I agree, man.
There were a lot of good moments, but it definitely was all over. I still don't understand this whole Commonwealth thing, like this reprocessing. That was just, it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I felt like that was being drug out.
Then at the end, it's like, oh, we cool. Like, yeah.
This girl came in and said she said smart things. We're gonna let her in.
Yeah. Well, she got us. We gotta let her in now. That's the one test.
That was the test, and she passed. Be smart. But do you think the sickle guy, I'm blanking on his name, I believe it's Elijah, is a Jesus replacement? Was he in the comics? No, he wasn't. And if he is a Jesus replacement, he's a terrible one.
He is not the next coming of Jesus.
I want a badass character. Man, give me a badass. And that was what's so cool about
a katana from some pawn store and a cool mask, and then like also you're the badass mystery dude.
No, I mean like in the comics, you had like I'd say Michonne
with the Reapers with that kind of outfit.
Yeah,
dude, are you good at walking in a V pattern menacingly?
Join the Reapers.
Have we got the job for you?
Here's your wife beater. Here's your gray hoodie and your menacing black jacket. Leave them all unzipped.
Broaden your shoulders, boy. Puff out that chest.
But the thing is like in the comics, when Jesus showed up, the closest thing you had to that was Michonne. Like you didn't have an abundance of badass martial arts care. I mean, it was a very grounded series. Yeah. So when you did have this character show up who was a badass hand-to-hand combatant, they really stuck out. And Jesus, I believe Robert Kirkman said that, yes, Jesus was the most efficient hand-to-hand combatant in the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah, that cat was cool.
And it's like, so if you go, I want a badass character. And they took away Michonne, who was one of the ultimate badasses. I mean, Michonne has always been probably my top 3 in the show. I mean, I've always loved, probably top 2, probably Rick and Michonne are my 2 favorites. Some of it depends. It kind of flip flops with who like the top 3 would be. But Rick and Michonne are always in the top 3. Let's see. Good episode, but the writing's just all over the place. Also, Maggie's story was ridiculous and reminded me of sitting around a campfire and somebody telling a scary story.
Yeah, I can see
my
that.
girlfriend took it as she was saying this guy was having sex with those people. Did you get that out of that whole story?
No,
I did. Thank you. I
No,
thought I
yeah.
was just like, I'm like, damn, I must just like, my intuition must be like off because I didn't get that at all. I just thought the moral of the story was this was a sick piece of shit. And Caitlin was like, I thought that's why they were doing that because they were having sex with them. And that's why he cut off their arms and their legs. And did anybody else get that? Because my girlfriend did, and I didn't get that at all. Let's see. Kate Domingo says, the thing that bothered me was this. Maggie said she didn't want to save Gage because of no ammo, which literally 5 minutes later, they had to open the door anyways. Then
yeah, they did open like, well, that was stupid. They just watched a boy plunge a knife into his heart a couple times and then get filleted by the rest of the zombies.
Oh, yeah. It says as soon as they get
zombies.
out, Maggie tells themselves about another spot where there's food, ammo, and resources.
Wait, there's another place.
Like what? She should not be leading anymore. And even Gordon here says that Maggie legged the gang into a trap. It's a trap.
Sounds like a episode of Sunny.
And then Kate Domingo says something I wholeheartedly agree with. I miss Michonne. Yeah. Especially with the season. I feel like half the reason they ended those because so many of their big players were leaving. But I mean, with that said, if she would have known it was going to be the last season, I would like to think maybe that would have given her the incentive to stick around a little longer. But it was
a spinoff, like just like of the trash people, like just a day in the life of the trash people, just that, like no other involvement, just secluded.
I hated them when they showed up because in my mind they made no sense. Like they reminded me of Kevin from The Office, like trying to use less words to be more efficient. Words. Like me and JP when that first happened, JP and I were talking about it on the podcast, and I had said I was like, it would make sense if you said they were like visiting from overseas. Maybe it was part of like a tourist group and they got stranded here in the apocalypse, so they had learned broken English. Like I'm cool with that. That makes a lot more sense and creates interesting challenges for the characters. Not, well, they've been living at the dumpster and decided to, Kevin from The Office had a good idea.
Hey, yeah, if anyone's surviving a zombie apocalypse, it's Kevin Malone.
Gordon says that it was kind of implied, like the sex thing. So maybe we just didn't catch that, Matt.
Yeah, but you know me, like my sex radar is very weak.
Chris,
I like what he says.
Chris Salinas says, I love the show and I get it that it's just a show, but how are these decomposing walkers strong enough to tear into flesh like they have razor fingers? You should only have to worry about their teeth. Well,
do you even lift, bro?
Well, they don't have any. I would say I agree with you 100%. Like the zombies they don't even have muscle mass. So like, how are they able to pull you? And I know that they don't hold back, but still. The only thing I would say about claw fingers is the bone probably is gotten pretty sharp through wear and tear. And like the bones probably, the fingers around the skin around the fingers.
They're very osteoporotic.
I have osteoporosis.
You need a calcium chew there, buddy.
But it's like, I'm sure the skin around their fingers is probably withering away. And the bone, of course, has probably been rubbed on a million things. So, I mean, I can understand.
I need to learn the decomposition science here. Like, how does that affect the zombie physiology?
Well, then it's like the one that ripped into Dale's stomach. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, he had like full pudgy, fresh zombie fingers and somehow like dug it. I guess the argument I can understand is that, humans, this, you're in the medical field. Humans, your brain regulates your strength because your brain doesn't want you to expend all of your strength in one go.
Disclaimer, take nothing I say as true medical advice.
But it's like, I've read that many places that your brain has its own governor on your strength because it's a survival thing. Like it doesn't want you to expend all of your energy in one go.
And we use 10% of our brains.
Because it's like in the old days, you would have used all of your energy and then you would have just been no energy, just laying in a field and a saber-toothed tiger would have came up and chomped on you. So like zombies don't have that inhibitor. Zombies just go at you full force because that part of their brains it's just their brain stem working, not the rest. So I get that, but I get what you're saying.
Suspend the disbelief on the zombie physics and physiology. They just are able to tear through anything, tear through human flesh like it was a wet paper napkin.
Mm-hmm. Jonas Belilli,
But I agree
Justin.
with that always bugs me too. Like when they just fillet a human like it was a wet tissue.
Oh yeah, like we're just made up of like thin plastic.
Like have you like even felt like how tough like your skin actually is? Like try to see if you can tear apart your skin.
Skin is very elastic and tough. Like
Yeah.
it's like try to dig your fingers in and like
Rip it apart.
um
That collagen doesn't like to be ripped apart.
Jonas Belilli says, Justin, would you stab yourself in the chest twice or try to have fought to the death? Totally not trying to sound like a badass. I would have definitely fought to the death because if I'm fighting, there's always that chance that I might just make it. Whereas if I stab myself in the chest, well, now
I hear
I'm
that
gone.
really fucking hurts too, plummeting a knife into your chest.
Well, you know,
at least you'd have the adrenaline of fighting if you finally get taken over.
Well, I've also read like, you know, if you on TikTok, there's a lot of like Ask Reddit. You know, I'm sure you're on Reddit, so you've probably seen like the forums where they like ask questions, and it'll be like people that have been stabbed. What did it feel like? And like the majority of people say they didn't even realize they had been stabbed until, you know.
Yeah, just because that adrenaline is going through them, and yeah.
But through the chest, you know, there's a chance you could break a rib. Because the knife would technically have to slide between the ribs, right?
Yeah, you have to go. Well, I guess if you enough brute force, you could shatter a rib.
Matt's anatomy knowledge is pretty amazing, which I guess needs to be being you have to like scan the body.
Bones in a human body to make a skeleton.
Holy shit,
dude!
I love learning.
If you laid out
drop some more knowledge.
If you took all your blood vessels and laid them all out, it would kill you.
No, Freddie down the street did that. Let's see. Did you hear when Princess called Mercer that fine ass dude? I never read the comics, but don't they get together? Comic spoilers, and you got time to tune away if you don't want them. 3, 2, 1. Yes, they be banging in the comics. So, yeah, Mercer and Princess.
I like Princess's character.
I like her a lot. I like Princess a lot. Like in the comics, I liked her, but I like her even more than I thought I would have when I found out she was coming to the show. I really like her, and that's probably in big part because the actress that plays her does such a good job.
She really does.
But I like how screwed up of a character she is. She's like a believable screwed up too. Like she's not over the top. Like a lot of times it's always some BS as to why the character's jacked up. Even though every psychological study ever has said like no one has that Joker moment of like, oh, I've been defeated. I'm losing my mind. I'm going evil. Yeah. It's like a lifetime of trauma that makes you.
It's a culmination of PTSD and just really effed up situations.
And we've learned through her life that Princess has been through just a lifetime
trials
of
and tribulations.
Trauma. So, you know, it's a very, in my mind, at least, it's a very believable character. But yeah, I really like her. What was it? It was another.
Yeah, just pull the emergency lever. Yeah.
Hey, Matt. Well, no. All right. So, Matt. Well, you hadn't seen Mercer in action yet. I was gonna say, what do you think, Mercer versus Beta? I think if Mercer had his weapons, definitely Mercer. On strength alone, I mean, Beta was in the comics. It took way more than, which Daryl's not in the comics, but it took way more than Daryl Dixon to kill him. I mean, Beta can take some punishment. So
that boy could.
I think fist to fist, Beta would.
He'd pound him into the ground like a.
He'd pound that ass.
Boom.
Let's see here. Jonas Belilli. Any parts of the episode stood out to you? Anything that could have been left out? We're nearing the end, and I feel like we need every second count. I did not like the Maggie story. I didn't either. I mean,
the whole letting into the Commonwealth, something just doesn't sit right with me on that one. You tricked us, so you are in.
Yep.
And I wasn't a cop, by the way. What did they went to? What, Northwestern or some shit?
Yeah, a beat cop.
It's like, oh, so you were actually cool this whole time. You just weren't psychologically fucking with us for whatever reason. No, I still don't get the whole like. Why are they in stormtrooper outfits too?
The costume. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's exactly what they wore in the comics. But
if it's comics, I'll let it slide.
I mean, if I had time, I would pull out my comic box and show you the first issue where they show up and they're wearing that armor. If you Google Commonwealth comics,
the series, I mean, the costumes get a lot more.
But in reality, they look very impractical and kind of stupid. I mean, I guess it's armor to keep teeth off of them, which makes a lot of sense.
Yes, but I mean, if they can tear through dense collagen, you think a little bit of plastic's going to stop them?
These zombie teeth were made for biting. And that's just what they'll do.
Our one weakness.
Oh no, plastic! My zombie teeth can't take it.
They're very allergic to plastic.
Let's see here, looking into the comments. But anything left out, Jonas? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like you, being this is the last season.
Part how Maggie got past the zombies. That's what I want. What I felt was left out.
I want more build up. Like I don't know. I feel like this is the last season of one of the most popular shows of all time, and I believe. I mean, it used to crush it in the ratings and the views. So like, I needed to start feeling really epic. I mean, this is the end, so I need some like epic, like the Reapers. To me,
to double the Reapers with their very amazing strut and scary costumes.
Yes,
double it. That's what I need.
But like the Reapers to me don't feel like any part of the bigger picture. They feel like just a temporary enemy for the sake of having. And that's what Powers Booth had talked about back when he was interviewed about Tombstone. Was talking about what made a great villain was you had to have a villain that was just as relatable as your hero. I mean, like, and I don't know if he said this part, but I've read, a good villain, a good enough villain should blur the lines between like who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, and not just. I feel like the Reapers are that traditional. All right, we got to have an antagonist. There's got to be conflict. What about another group of
scary dudes
people
with sharp weapons?
But yeah, no, Jonas, I do feel there's a lot missing. Now I can't quite pinpoint what exactly I feel is missing, but it's definitely stuff missing. And probably a part of that feels that way because a lot of the comic characters that were still alive and a big part of this are dead on the show. So now we've got all these.
What's left? Like what are we getting left to lose?
I mean, a lot of the like Yumiko. I mean, she's starting to grow on me, but like.
I'm not invested.
It's like, and the same thing with Magna. I mean, like a lot of these characters that have been moved into bigger character spots, I just am not at the point that I really care that much about them.
One thing I'm looking forward to though, like if Daryl does die in the last season here, I'm going to send you that somebody killed Daryl.
Somebody killed Daryl. Shit. Shit.
I've been waiting my whole life to send that to you after that very moment.
All Gage had to do was pull the emergency lever and open one of the train's windows to escape. Stupid. DC trains have them, and they work without electricity.
You didn't have to plunge a knife into your heart, buddy.
But you know what? I mean, realistically, when Schnitt goes down, people panic, and they don't think clearly. Hindsight.
Yeah, I'm in tough situations. I just start plunging blades into my flesh.
It gets awkward at the beach. Matt, where do we want to eat? Nah, don't stab yourself again, man. Jesus Lord. Just
I'm sorry. I forgot you can't handle the pressure.
Oh, let's see.
This is why you make the decisions for the group, Justin, because I plunge blades into my flesh.
Is JP ever going to make it back? Man, I surely hope so. I surely hope so. Kate Domingo. So is the rest of the group going to the Commonwealth, or is it only 4 states? No, I mean
they didn't pass the test. They didn't
get through processing.
They didn't one up the processors.
But no, yes, most of them do, not all of them, but I mean a big part of the group does make it to Alexandria. I mean not to Alexandria, excuse me, from Alexandria to the Commonwealth. Anime Chan says, "Am I the only one kind of excited for season 2 of The World Beyond?" Yeah, I think you are. That show is awful. I mean, like, I tried to be optimistic. If you go back and listen to the podcast, like, I was trying in the beginning to be, like, super optimistic about it. But after, like, the third or fourth, I was like, this show sucks. Like, it is a chore for me to stay up and watch it.
That's the worst when it becomes a job.
You haven't watched Fear yet, have you, Matt?
Mm-mm.
Man, you definitely need to check it out. It's got some very...
He talks about. Sounds like this Victor Strand character. Sounds like he's a pretty cool dude.
And you noticed, JP, Matt, that I have not seen Cuckingham Palace, and I've not seen Coleman Domingo in the comment section either. And I've been saying from the beginning that you were those.
It's me. You got me this whole time.
Is it really?
No.
Bullshit.
I don't got that kind of time to fuck with you guys like that. I got a job. I got sponsorabilities.
But what's funny is like they'll come in. You'll join the live chat in the comment section, but like you're never on when they're on.
It's very it's just purely like as coincidental gets.
But no.
Please, Cole Domingo, if you're out there, please say something. Redeem me.
You're putting that in a very suspect situation right now. I don't see Coleman Domingo. I don't see Cuckingham's Palace.
This is
I mean,
Twas I.
I think you're Cuckingham Palace for sure. But let's see.
Like what? Like out of all names, like why Cuckingham Palace? Like Buckingham Palace with cuck in it?
Right. It's a palace where husbands love to watch their wives getting freaky with other men. It's like the Barn of Pleasures, but it's a castle and no Walking Dead characters.
Oh no! It's
Oh,
out. It's out in the United
Oh
Kingdom.
no!
Too much pleasure.
Not my wife. Somebody had a really good point too. I've said this before. If you take country, like when you talk Southern, or you talk maybe a little more like Georgian, like Savannah, they think they're like, oh, you talk like a redneck. But actually, if you speed that up, that sounds much more like traditional, like English, than like a California or a New York accent. So we might be redneck, but we're also close to our roots. Let's see. Jonas Belilli says, I predict they're going to get that food in episode 8 only for the Commonwealth to save the day against the Reapers. But I agree. They need to build to the end. It feels like the story that we've seen before. I know. It's like this is the last season, man. You can start pulling out all the stops. I mean, pay Andrew Lincoln whatever it costs to bring his ass back. Bring Jadis back. Bring Michonne back. Do what you got to do to make this last season one for the books. Don't give us a Game of Thrones season 8, please. Have y'all seen the new teaser trailer for The World Beyond? I have. It does look good, but season 1 also looked good from the trailers, and then it wasn't. I mean, like, Fear the Walking Dead has low points, for sure, but it also has some really high points that make it worth sludging through the BS. I can't think of, like, anything in The World Beyond that was worth... It was like if Disney Channel decided they wanted to make their own spinoff of The Walking Dead. I mean, really, you got a teenage girl that's like, come on, guys. I know that the world's full of zombies that eat us.
Through friendship, we can solve our problems.
Exactly.
And then they die.
If we pull together and let love prevail over all, the zombies won't eat us. And they all died the next episode from a big fall. Let's see.
You can say they done goofed up.
Doggosaurus Rex says Triceratops horns don't work like that. Please enlighten me. I'm trying to remember if did we bring up Triceratops?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. Enlighten me. Can we talk for 30 seconds about Alexandria? I get the Whisperers were a big group, but how exactly did they destroy Alexandria so much?
Hey, a few fires here and there, and that's it.
Well, I mean, you had Beta. That Beta scene where he was like Michael Myersing through Alexandria was awesome. And he's like going house to house, killing people and waiting for them to turn. But the Whisperers, man, they put a hurting on them. I mean, I definitely... Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to think back to exactly when they did that much damage. But I'm sure if I go back and watch it, it's somewhere in there. Let's see. From Gordon, this show is in its final season. It should be wrapping up character arcs and plot lines. Instead, it's introducing a new villain of the week. Gordon, I agree with you, my man, 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying with the Reapers. Like, I'm not that excited about the Reapers because they don't seem like they're part of the big picture.
Hockey mask now, a cool tool weapon, and walk menacingly.
Chad Thundercock.
Hey man, if I saw that like in a zombie apocalypse, I would be shitting my pants too. Like, what in the corn dog hell are these guys doing?
Let's see. Where is this one at? Darn it. Y'all are fast with some comments. Let's see. Are you excited for DC fandom? Elaborate just a little bit if you don't mind, which actually I'm tired, so it's going to be a little slower. But Coleman Domingo is too busy with Candyman right now. Well, he's also busy sitting right across from me.
Yeah, how convenient.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. Doggosaurus Rex. Oh, wait.
I'm also Donkeysaurus. Twas I.
The show is in its final season, but I think it will spin right into a new show using most of our existing characters, other than Daryl and Carol, probably featuring.
No, it's going to be just strictly a Daryl and Carol cooking show.
They're no longer the Walking Dead. They're the Dead Walking, starring Daryl. And Carol. In this episode, Carol has a rematch with the mouse. But now Daryl's been tagged into the fight. I'm gonna get you, mouse.
Will they get this little Ratatouille, or will it?
Come on, Carol. Let's get the mouse. I'm a redneck. I survive eating squirrels and snakes. A rat's nothing. And the rat killed them both.
From bubonic plague.
Is Morgan a major character in the comics? Not like he is in the show, no. I mean, Morgan is a big part of it to an extent. Like the show, he kind of disappears for a while and then you catch back up with him. But he's in the comics, he was gone back around the season 5 time frame is when Morgan left the comics. I won't say no more than that, not spoil it, but no. Friendship is magic. It is. Remember when they decided to go into a tire fire? Yes, that was, again, that just don't like that show. Season 1 World Beyond was more about character development, so I think the season will be much better. I hope so, because they did. If that's the case, I'm waiting for the development of these characters to happen. Like I like Faith, all right, and I like Huck. Other than that, I couldn't give a shit less about any of these characters, especially the lead girl, whose name I've forgotten. The one that's always like, "Come on, guys! I know it's scary, and the world's full of flesh-eating zombies."
Like, characters like that are just so forgettable.
They are, man. Like Faith, I like. Faith's pretty cool. The World Beyond kid has a Triceratops horn, but in reality, they are firmly attached to the skull. What World Beyond kid has a Triceratops horn? What am I missing here? Did someone say my name?
Oh, hell.
Hand me that guitar right there, Matt. The one sitting beside you.
The ukulele or the actual guitar?
Give me the actual guitar. Let's see. Oh, where is it? Since we've got Michael Myers in the house.
I'm going to play a little tune.
This one's for you, Michael. That's a little off. Let's see.
Now you've summoned him.
Yep. Or you can make it a little where was it? I used to be with a band and let's see. Something like that. And we would have one person playing it down here while the other person's hitting that. It was like a whole little fun thing we used to do. It's been so long. But that's for you, Michael Myers. Thank you so much for being in the comment section. Matt, I'm going to hand you.
Please don't kill us.
Yeah, please. Like, I played a tune for you. I mean, don't I get a pass?
The power of friendship, Will.
Don't easy. It's an expensive guitar. That's just like,
you got that
the hell with this thing. Let's just throw it on
HVAC
metal.
Money. You got that fuck you HVAC money.
Let's see. Jonas says, I was listening to Joe Rogan talking about the Bohemian Grove. Is that a real version of the Barn of Pleasure? Bohemian Grove is where a bunch of rulers, politicians, bankers, and etc. bang each other. It'd be like the Barn of Pleasures, but it'd be a lot more boring. So that means like Joe Biden and, you know, all the old Rockefellers are in there, like, you know, 100 years old. I'm going to give it to you, Daddy.
Well, you know, they got access to that good shit too. Like, they can have like 4-hour boners.
Politicians are all old. Bring me my pill. I'm going to tear this ass up. Let's see. I've heard of the Bohemian Grove thing. I actually heard JP talk about Alex Jones talking about it. This week, Dog gets a girlfriend. I thought Dog was going to die. And that's the thing, too.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been so heartbreaking if Dog would have, like, died.
Yeah, don't I Am Legend that shit on us.
Yep. Y'all remember when Daryl had that necklace made of ears? Season 2? Yes. Michael Myers says,
this pleases me.
I miss Merle. You would.
Your tune has made him more somber than anything.
What character arcs would you like to see wrapped up? And if possible, how? Well, I think Gabriel should have wrapped up last season. I know they're probably going to kill Gabriel the same way they do in the comics, but they're going to have the Reapers do it.
He's not doing anything for anybody.
It's like, but last season when he had them about to bust through the door and he got a shotgun, like that was the perfect way to wrap up his arc. He started off a coward who ran from everything and was just useless to going down like a damn hero by himself, but fighting to the end. Perfect way to wrap it up. But instead so I would have liked to have seen his arc wrap up that way. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'd like to see Daryl's story wrap up. But that's not. The AMC's going to milk that cow as long as they can. Not calling Daryl a cow. Norman Reedus is a fine individual, but they're gonna
take more advantage of his character than need be.
Yep. But no, I mean, I definitely want to see some resolution. Like, I want to see Eugene's story wrap up, get him a girl, and settle down. And he met his lady, and she actually isn't. She looks pretty damn cute. What'd you think
about what?
Eugene's girl.
Yeah, like for Eugene, that seemed appropriate.
Let's see. Oh yeah, her name is Hope, not Faith. Sorry. I mean, she's forgettable. She's less forgettable than the other characters, but as in my brain is working still.
Oh
no! Which character arcs? Oh, we did that one. Yeah, I mean, really at this point, man, all the most interesting characters are gone. So I mean, I'm trying to think of who all is still. Aaron. I want to see more of Aaron. Where the hell has Aaron been?
I like when he had that big old beefy mace on his arm. That was pretty cool.
Is Dwight important in the comics? Yes, he is, and he has a very, very, very big moment in this time period in the comics. Like, Dwight's involved in all of this with the Commonwealth and everything, and we're not getting any of that.
And he's just like a normal guy who wears a mask. I like his comics.
Was Robert Patrick's character a Reaper? That's it. I think so. JP and I were talking about that. We definitely think there's some tie-in there. Do you know who really disappointed me as a character? The dude with the mask with Maggie. Here's a dude with a mask. And then he's just like, I'm a normal guy who wears
That's his theme. He wears a mask.
Let's see. Eugene's girlfriend was a hottie. I agree. Good for Eugene.
We doink her, I guess.
We learned that Eugene was a virgin this episode.
No, there's no way. That dude was slaying some mad poon back in his day.
You think so?
I know so.
I will, in fact, tear that booty up.
So what's the deal with the mask? That's just his thing. It's weird. Don't ask.
He
just wears a mask.
One of his eyes drifts to the left a little bit, and he's really ashamed of it. So he wears a mask. Oh, I thought maybe he was a badass or something. God, no. That's just what he does. He's really not very helpful. What is it called? Anemic, where you bleed a lot? Like if you get cut, it doesn't clot up correctly.
Yeah, that's like a platelet deficiency. There's all sorts of blood disorders that can cause. But anemia means you don't have a lot of blood to begin with.
He's got a blood deficiency issue, and so no, he's not a badass.
He's not helpful in any way. In fact, he more hinders us.
I mean, when there's physical contact, we tell him to go hide, and we'll tell him
around the mall a lot.
But he has sickles. Yeah, those are made of plastic. He just found them.
He has sickle cell anemia. That's why that's the sickles tie-in.
That's it. Hemophiliac. That's it. Donkeysaurus Rex. You just the shiznit. But I think that's going to bring to a close this.
Oh, General Shepard asked. He asked this question, I think, twice.
Which one?
The very last one here. After Donkeysaurus said hemophiliac. Do you think the Reapers are former military?
Oh, I apologize, General. I didn't see it the first time. My bad, man. Yes, I do. I think that they are. I definitely think they're former military. Yeah, like maybe some special forces unit, or
they got really fucking cool dusters though.
Yeah, they got cool jackets. And let's see. We'll wrap it up with this. Do you think Rick and Michonne will come back somewhere towards the end of season? And that's why they haven't made it to the Rick movies yet. At this point, just scrap the damn Rick movies and bring them back for the last season. Do them later. I mean, like, Jesus. Well, Rick left the show in season 9. We're now in season 11, and we still don't have. So they filmed a ton of Walking Dead between his departure and now, but not anything on the Rick movies. Like, good Lord, man. It's this point, just scrap it and bring them back to the show. Take the money you're going to pay them for the movies and just bring them back to the show. But Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Because I always hate doing these alone because
I'm just more sad it took you a week to see this episode compared to me.
I'm just sad that you slammed my guitar on the couch.
You got that FU HVAC money. You'll be fine.
But I can't buy the memories that I have with that guitar.
Well, all right. You can't put a price on sentimental value. $100 sentimental dollars.
But hey, we'll be back next week. We might even do a lot. We were toying with the idea of doing an after show live stream next week.
If I can get my computer set up.
I'll get you I'll get you my USB mic, and you can
Yes.
use that with your
Yeah.
headphones and join me via. You can actually on StreamYard, I know you don't like to be on camera. You can actually enable it to where it's only going to show you only hear your voice. You don't
No, I want to
actually.
use like one of those
You
Zoom filters, like where I'm a cat or something.
Yeah, man. Or you could, you could put up a funny picture or something. So yeah, we'll get that straight. But yeah, I'm thinking live stream after the episode. Samburbia, that's not the Matt you're thinking of.
Yeah,
No, this is another Matt.
different.
But
Good, equally as good, but different.
agree. Yes, this is a different Matt. But hey, he's very enjoyable. But yeah, so we'll try to live stream right after the episode. So be tuned in and be watching for that. I'll try to set it up early in the day to remind
so yeah,
you.
I ain't got to be up nowhere in the morning.
I don't either.
Hot damn,
Hot damn.
hot damn, Daryl.
General Shepherd, no, I don't even really know what Discord is, but I think I'm gonna set one up.
Where all the young kids are going to have sex these days. I don't know.
Sanburbia said, and a perfect one to exit with. I love the new Matt. Oh,
no, shucks.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
Sanburbia, man, I love you. I'm so glad to see you in the comments section. Please continue to come back and comment. Sanburbia had
Cold
been
Domingo, you fucked me today. I hope you realize that.
Sure, Matt. I mean Coleman / Cuckingham Palace. But Sanburbia is an OG listener from back in the day. Won the first ever contest we ever did. So thank you so much for being back. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And again, be ready for a live stream after the episode this Sunday. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm Justin.
I'm Matt.
Yeah. And we're the Podcasting Dead. Peace.
Good night.
Bye.